Welcome to the Root of Power podcast, where I teach you how to chase your joy, find alignment, and create a life and a business that you love, using actionable methods, interviews, and inspiring stories from people who know that true freedom is found within. I'm your host, your always hype woman and sometimes ass kicker, Amanda Chils, and I am so proud of you for choosing to step into your power. Come along, we've got dreams to build. Okay, my love, I have put everything that I offer for free on one page so that we are not doing more work than we have to, because why would we do that? Hashtag work smarter, not harder. So livemyhappyhealth.com/free. You are going to find everything I've created for not only leveling up in your personal life and building a life that you love, but leveling up in your business life and building a business that you love. Okay? livemyhappyhealth.com/free. Love you. Hi, welcome to this week's episode. I hope that you've had some fun lately. And if you haven't had any fun lately, I hope that you get some coming up. A joke that I make a lot with my clients is that humans are just kind of big house cats, where if we don't have enough enrichment in our enclosure, we start to misbehave. If you've ever had a cat, you know what I'm talking about. Or a dog, right? You know, like when they get bored, they're like, you know what I'm going to do? Eat your fucking shoes. Like, so I hope that you've had fun recently. And I hope that if you haven't done anything fun in a minute, this is your gentle, loving reminder to go do something fun, you beautiful little sweet cinnamon roll of a human being. If you don't have enough enrichment in your enclosure, we tend to act out. So go have some fun, go blow off some steam, whatever that looks like for you. And it'll be beautiful. So we love that for you. This week's episode is about what to do if when your head hits the pillow, your brain won't stop. So this is both a question that I got when I asked what people wanted an episode around, and something that my clients run into all the time. So when I ask, like, how are you sleeping? How is that going? They say, well, I don't sleep well. And I say, okay, are you struggling to fall asleep or struggling to stay asleep? And they're like, sometimes both, but for the purposes of this episode, we're talking about struggling to fall asleep. And I already know what the answer is 90% of the time, but I say, okay, what happens? And they say, well, my brain won't stop thinking. Okay, great. Let me explain why this happens to you. So your brain throughout your day takes in like thousands and thousands, like hundreds of thousands of pieces of data. Not only is it going through what you've done through the day, right? It's all the data about like temperature and people and things and colors and our brains are great generators. They're very good filing cabinets, but you have to give your brain, come on, kitty. Come on. You have to give your brain the space to let the little gnomes in your brain do their thing. And if you've been taking in data all day, which most of us are, then your little gnomes in your brain haven't had time to appropriately file. If you're watching on YouTube, Kitty just came up. So this is the funnest part about having a cat, is he likes to join on podcast episodes. Not that he contributes anything, but he is so cute. We love him. So imagine there's like little gnomes in your brain and they're filing as fast as they can, but like tens of thousands of pieces of data is no small feat, friends. I struggle to file like 4 checks in a month. Like it's whatever. Anyway, the gnomes in your brain are quite efficient, but we're not giving them appropriate time. And if you imagine like how busy human life is now compared to even just 40 years ago, but 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago, like evolution is incredibly slow. So our brains were quite literally not wired to take in the amount of data, the amount of stimulation that modern life gives us. Life was a lot slower then. There were a lot more There was just honestly a lot less stimulation. There was a lot less access to news, social I mean, God, the internet didn't exist, like, you didn't know what was going on in other countries, like, you knew what was going on in your community, you had a lot more downtime, people spent a lot more time outside, the pace was slower, right? Like, our brains were not wired for modern life, and they certainly weren't wired for all the stimulation that comes with it. So, what I tell people, and this is going to be a relatively quick episode because it's a relatively quick fix, is that you have to give the gnomes in your brain time and space to do what they do. Your brain is a generator, it generates ideas, it generates thoughts, it generates impulses and emotions and whatever. And it is a filing cabinet, but that process is slower. So it takes a lot more time. Like if you've ever if you've ever like cleaned out your closet, it takes a lot more time to throw everything out of your closet than it does to put everything back. That's because the filing process takes longer and your little gnomes are doing the best that they can, but like god damn, we have a lot of shit going on. You know what I mean? And most people have no downtime. And what happens is they take in information all day long, tens of thousands of pieces of information, and they don't even take 10 minutes to just do nothing. And it doesn't take very long. It's not a 1-to-1 ratio. It's not like, oh, you spend 18 hours a week, you need 18 hours to file. That's not really how it works. A lot can get done in a short amount of time, but if you have no space where you're doing nothing, where you're not taking in stimulation, then yeah, your brain's going to be behind. And then for most people, the only time where the world is quiet, the only time where they're not actively doing something or looking at something or taking something in is when their head hits the pillow. So when your head hits the pillow, your brain's like, oh, thank God. And the little gnomes in your brain are like, thank, okay, great. We finally have the time. And then it will start filing things. And then people are frustrated. You get frustrated because you're like, well, shit, my brain won't stop. And it's like, okay, but you haven't created any space during the day so that your gnomes can do what they do best, which is file the things away. And so there's two things that I have found work very well and two things that I recommend clients do. You don't have to do either of these. You can keep doing what you're doing, but I would wager that that's not working for you. So try them both, see which one you like better. Or don't, whatever. This is your dream. So one is to create moments through the day where I call them pockets, to create pockets through the day where you decompress. So these decompression pockets don't have to be very long, 1 minute, 2 minutes. I know that you poop every day. So, well, I hope that you poop every day. If you don't, probably should definitely talk to your doctor about that because you're supposed to. But anyway, you go to the bathroom at least once a day, which, okay, that's probably about 30 seconds to a minute, where you do nothing. Don't bring your phone. Don't read the back of a shampoo bottle if you don't have your phone. Don't read a book. Just let your brain be. You can close your eyes. I mean, obviously, keep breathing. Definitely don't stop breathing. But just let your brain rest in the stillness. And your little gnomes will take whatever pockets you give them to file away. So imagine doing this, 5 to 10 times a day, finding a minute or 2 minutes, and you've built up 10 to 20 minutes over the day. And it doesn't take very long. Your brain just needs the time and the space. It needs these decompression pockets to work through all the information that you're taking in throughout the day, which is honestly a staggering amount of information, a staggering amount of data. You can also just close your eyes and breathe and let your brain do what it does, right? You're not trying to catch thoughts, you're not trying to work through anything. You're just letting your brain do what it does. The more you do this, the better you'll get at it, the faster it will be for you. Obviously, if you have a buildup, it's going to take a little while to get through the buildup, but your gnomes are quite efficient and they will do so. So you take time. If you're outside, even better because nature brings down, like it down regulates the central nervous system, which means that it makes the process faster. The calmer your nervous system is, the faster this process is. Because imagine if you're running from a bear, your brain's just not, your gnomes are busy. Like your gnomes are a little busy when you're running from a bear. So the calmer your nervous system, the faster this process goes. So you can find pockets, like sitting in your car before you go in after work, right? Like take 3 to 5 minutes and just let yourself come down. Take 3 to 5 minutes when you get home. Take 10 or 20 minutes when you get home. The point is, find those decompression pockets throughout the day. You can also do a process called absorb and release, which is an RRT process, which is extremely effective. And on your inhale, you just inhale like a normal person. And on your exhale, you think the word release. Now, your subconscious is a smart little cookie. It knows what to release for you. It just needs the prompt, it just needs the trigger word. So you take an inhale, and on your exhale, think the word release. Do that for a minute. You can combine that with the decompression pockets, and your system will feel so much lighter. So not only are your gnomes filing what's useful to file, once they get the trigger word release, they're going to just throw away things that don't even need to be filed at all. So doing that 5 to 10 times a day for a minute is immediately going to give you, oh my gosh, you're going to fall asleep so quickly, which is a beautiful thing. So you can set a little timer on your phone and say absorb and release, and you do it for a minute. Congratulations. Oh my gosh, you're going to sleep so much better. The other thing is I guess it's a protocol. It's a thing that I call brain dumping. So you keep a journal by your bed, not on your phone. Literally write this out. The connection from your hand to your brain is completely different than typing. Keep a journal and a pen, obviously, because what else are you going to write with? By your bed, and set a timer for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, and just write down whatever comes to your mind. Now, this is called brain dumping for a reason. What's going to happen is your gnomes are going to give you everything that they would like to offload of your brain. It may be a plan for the next day. It may be things you're worried about. It may be things you've done that day. It may not even be related to your day at all. It may be like, why do I like eggs so much? And which came first, the chicken or the egg? And who was the first person to eat an egg? Like, was it a dare? I really think the first person to eat an egg was a dare. Or they saw another animal eat an egg and were like totally legit. My dad was telling me the other day that he used to crack an egg and put salt in it and then, like eat it, like shoot it like a shot. And I'm like, you're definitely more hardcore than I am, because like a bitch is not doing that. So it may be a process like that. But the point is, your brain has things, and offloading them is very beneficial, because whatever offloads is going to have other things attached to it. And then congratulations, you've cleared 30%. And now your brain has less work to do. So when you combine that with the decompression pockets, your head hits the pillow and your brain's like, oh, good, we're already clear. We've already cleared everything. Our gnomes have already done all that work, which is a beautiful thing, because then you get to sleep. So be very mindful of how much stimulation you're taking in. Scrolling TikTok is not doing nothing. It's incredibly overstimulating for your brain. Scrolling social media is incredibly overstimulating. So if that's the only way that you're having downtime, oh my God, Kitty just put his little paws on my arm and now I can't move for the rest of the day. Sweet little baby. And so if scrolling social media is the only like quote unquote downtime you're giving yourself, like what you're actually doing is overstimulating the shit out of your brain. Now, I'm not going to tell you like you should never be on social media, like because I'm not, you can probably Instagram from my cold dead hands, but it doesn't benefit you if you're not also creating decompression pockets. So decompression pockets, and then brain dumping, which is setting a timer for 5 or 10 minutes, whatever time you want, doesn't really matter. No less than 5, but like half an hour is definitely too much. So 5 to 10 minutes is my guideline for you. And just write whatever comes to your mind. You don't have to do anything with it. The point is not to then analyze it. It's not to do anything other than to just get it out of your brain and into a journal. And if you're someone who every time you lay in bed is thinking about the next day, go ahead and plan the next day on paper, because your brain is going to go, oh, okay, well, that's something that I wanted to do. Check, totally done. And so when you do those two things, you are able to fall asleep much faster, because You have created time where your little gnomes can file and get rid of things. And you've created time where your gnomes can eat the things that it doesn't want out of your brain. So, congratulations. This is the whole episode. It's not super long, but it is quite powerful. When this works for you, shoot me a message. Let me know. I love, love, love when y'all send me messages about the episodes being useful for you. It is one of my favorite things because I love hanging out with you on this platform. And if any of these episodes are useful, please feel free, do a girl a favor to leave a 5-star review. That helps the podcast get in front of more people. And then more people get support, more people get better. And then a rising tide lifts all boats. So you get to be a part of that rising tide, which is dope as fuck. I'm grateful for you. I hope that you have a beautiful day. I hope that you go do something fun. And I hope that you intentionally find these decompression pockets and brain dump. Okay. Love you. Mean it. Bye.